We're going to be drawing, today we're drawing the scene, which will later be painted as a watercolor, the scene of Notre Dame in Paris. It's a street scene with the iconic building of Notre Dame set in the background, and it's a very complex scene, and the goal of this video is to simplify the drawing of the parts, which we can later make more complex, more challenging, or more detailed, I guess is a better word. If you look at what I'm doing now, I'm drawing the buildings, and I'm drawing them as simply as we can. Basically, they're boxes. Notre Dame, the two towers are rectangles. The big base in Notre Dame is also a rectangle or squarish. The building to the left is a box with perspective implied in the top line. If you look at that top line, it ascends, and that helps to give a feeling that it's at a different angle to us than the building, the Cathedral of Notre Dame. The building on the right is also a long box, a long rectangle that has an awning placed in the lower third. And the scene is started off by drawing the street, the line of the street, which is a slowly descending line going from left to right. Later we'll put some figures on the street, we'll put some cars on the street. But the first part of the drawing is just to set the level, and then to set the big shapes of the buildings. And then as we work down, we're going to put in smaller shapes, the smaller shapes of awnings, the smaller shapes of some cars and public lighting, the smaller shapes of people crossing the street. So definitely in this sort of scene, almost any scene really, is to avoid the detail and stick with the larger shapes until you're happy, and then nest those smaller shapes inside the bigger shapes. You'll get more accuracy and you'll feel more in control. We're nearing the final stage of the drawing where we're putting in smaller pieces, and I'm adding a few pedestrians crossing the street. One crossing the street, some hanging out on the corner. I wanted to line up a few cars in this one, but they're giving me problems, as you can tell. I start with the windshield, and then I put the body of the car and try to avoid detailing the cars, but I'm having a little trouble with perspective. Anyway, it eventually works out after many lines. Now, yeah, we're adding some details to the buildings themselves. The interesting windows that are on top of the building in the two towers, the circular stained glass window, all these are part of Notre Dame and should be included. On to the painting.